If you want cheap Microsoft points and game codes, check out g2a.com, link is in the description below.
Hey guys, it's Melvin7 here, and today I'm bringing you my BPL predictions match day 28. Now, who doesn't like a bit of BPL midweek football? I love it, alright, midweek games are fantastic. There's usually a lot of surprises, so yeah, let's get straight into this. Well, before we do, the scores are 73 to me and 99 to the Mystery C, but this week in my fantasy BPL that I set up with I think there's 60 other subscribers of mine that are in it at the start of the year. There's a video on my channel if you do want to join the league. I mean, it's a bit late now, but anyway, yeah, I'm joined second on that now, and I made a tactical decision and it paid off. I put Wayne Rooney in my team. I removed Diego Costa, Terry, Harry Kane, etc. because they were playing in the Capital One Cup, and I made Wayne Rooney my captain, and he scored 2. So yeah, I gained a lot of points on people ahead of me, so now I'm joined second on that. So very happy that I may win something at the end of this, even if I don't win this series. But yeah, anyway, on to the predictions. So in game 1, we've got Aston Villa up against West Brom. Now, West Brom have been fantastic under Tony Pulis. I think it's, 7 clean sheets in the last 10. They've been defensively solid. And Aston Villa, on the other hand, Tim Sherwood doesn't seem to have the belief in his squad. The squad doesn't seem to have belief in themselves. They haven't been amazing, but their performances, when you actually watch them, they haven't been that bad. They've just been unlucky, and that's the story of the season. But many a team has been relegated through unluckiness as well as, you know, performances coming into that. So for me, Tony Pulis is going to get himself a nice 1-0 win. I think he'll sit back, he'll get an early goal, sit back, and yeah, that'll be that. So 1-0 is my prediction for West Brom. In the next game, we got Hull up against Sunderland. Now, this is a relegation 3-pointer, definitely. I mean, Hull have looked a bit better at home recently, but Sunderland, they just look like a depleted team. I mean, they did last season, and then of course they beat us, they beat City, they beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for the first time that Mourinho had lost a home BPL game. So yeah, they may turn good, but at the minute they just don't look too. We weren't amazing in the first half, but Sunderland just sat back and tried to punt the ball up to Defoe, and it didn't work. So all in all, I reckon that this is going to be a very tight game, but I reckon Hull are going to edge it 2-1. I reckon Defoe's going to score, but I reckon Hull are going to win this, and that's a massive 3 points if they do. The next game, we got Southampton against Crystal Palace. Now, Southampton have done what I predicted they would do, and personally, you know, since Man United are competing for top 4, obviously I don't want Southampton to do well. If we were competing for the title, however, I would love Southampton to come forth, but considering we're fighting there, I'm happy that they're not, but they are unlucky. They're falling short just at the last hurdle, it seems. But of course, a win against Palace would move them within contention of top 4 again. So, you know, Palace, on the other hand, Pardew's done wonders there, alright? I'm glad that he left and he's went to a club that actually likes him, you know, club that loves him, and it seems to be doing well. The players seem to like having him as a manager, and it seems to be all plain sailing. Like Tony Pulis, there's no fear of relegation at the minute for Crystal Palace. So, for me, I reckon it's going to be another bad result for the Saints. They just can't score. Pella he's missing so many opportunities recently. So for me, it's going to be 2-1 Palace. It's going to be a really close game, but I reckon Southampton will lose again. In the next game, we've got Man City, who have been so poor recently, against Leicester. Personally, I think Man City are now in the top 4 race. They're not in contention for the title anymore. They're 4 points ahead of Arsenal. They're going to get dragged into this top 4 race. Mark my words, alright? They'll get Champions League, alright? But they're still going to be in the fight, so it'll become a fight for top 2 now to come 2nd, 3rd, 4th, etc. So that is my opinion. And yeah, Leicester, on the other hand, they've got a game in hand, but they're 4 points behind anyone. I think they're on 19 points, but they've been okay. Their performances have been fairly solid, and Man City seem to overestimate the lower teams. It's just a fact. I mean, I think Burnley got a draw against them, and Leicester seem to do well against the big teams. So there may be another shock on the cards in this game, but for me, I'm going to say it's going to be 3-1 Manchester City. I really hope Leicester gets something from the game, but you'd be stupid not to put a Manchester City win. In the next game, we've got Newcastle going up against my team, Man United. Now, Di Maria had his worst half in a Manchester United shirt against Sunderland, and it was disappointing, but Januzaj and Young were very, very good on the wings. Do I think Di Maria deserves to be dropped? No. He's the second highest assister in the BPL, alright? And the only way he's going to come out of this bad spell of form is playing him, alright? One half doesn't constitute getting dropped. And yes, he's been poor in other games, but he's still got the assist. He's still creating chances, alright? We're figuring out our formation, and to be honest, 4-2-3-1 is the formation I would go with, or 4-4-2 with wide men. Alright, I would play Di Maria on the left and move Young to the right, personally, against Newcastle. And I think we'll exploit weaknesses, because Newcastle, under Carver seems to want to play attractive, attacking football and show that he's a match for the big boys in the league. Alright, he did that against City and they got obliterated 5-0. Alright, I reckon he's going to do the same thing against Manchester United. Manchester United struggle against teams that sit back and play 9 men behind the ball, like Sunderland did, trying to get, you know, the ball up to Jermaine Defoe. So we struggle against teams like those. We struggle to break them down. But I reckon Newcastle will attack because they're at home, and I reckon that's going to open a lot of spaces for players like Januzaj, Young, Di Maria to create chances. I hope Juan Mata plays in this one, because the last 2 games against Newcastle, he's assisted 2 in the last one, and last season he scored 2 when we beat them 4-0 at St James's Park. So for me, I'm going to say this is going to be a 2-0 result for Manchester United. I reckon there's going to be some chances exploited. I hope we win more than that, because it would give some confidence going into the hard run of games. No disrespect to Newcastle, they had a good win against Aston Villa, but I think their fans don't like Carver anyway. So, you know, that's my prediction, 2-0 Manchester United. In the next game, we got QPR up against Arsenal. Now, QPR look as though they're getting relegated, even though I forgot the manager, is it? Oh, I've completely forgot the manager, but anyway, he looks as though he's sparking some life into them, getting some results, but then as soon as they hit a vein of form, or what seems to be, they stumble again. And you know, it's just been that sort of season. They have got a game in hand though, so you know, this is a good chance to get points back in this game. So QPR against Arsenal. Arsenal haven't been great recently, but they did what Arsenal do best after losing heavily. They go and beat a lesser team. Everton are a lesser team this season, comfortably. It wasn't too difficult. Everton did pose a little bit of a threat, but they got the job done. In this game, it's going to be close, but I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. I really think they've got a great chance of getting some in QPR, but I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. I'm going to have to speed this up. This is going on for far too long. Anyway, in the next game, we've got Spurs up against Swansea. Now, this is going to be a very interesting game in my opinion. Spurs are going to want revenge for losing in the Capital One Cup final. Swansea have been playing some great football recently and have done really, really well since the departure of Wilfred Boney. So for me, I would probably think this is going to be a draw, but considering Spurs are really, really, really good, they're in a good vein of form, and that Capital One Cup loss, the Florentina loss, is going to spur them on to try and get that top 4 place. So for me, it's going to be a comfortable 2-0 win for Spurs, but Swansea will still do well after that in my opinion. In the next game, we've got Stoke up against Everton. Now, this looks as though it's going to be an interesting game. Stoke are usually pretty good at home, but Everton really need a result recently. Their Europa League form contrasts to their BPL form, and for me, they played some good football against Arsenal. Whenever I watch Everton, they play good football, they just can't finish it off. They can't provide Lukaku, and whenever they do, sometimes Lukaku will blaze it over and shit. They just can't seem to find a balance. So for me, this is a good time for Everton to get a good result against a Stoke team who are defensively solid, but in all honesty, I reckon Everton are going to pip this at another 2-1 result in my opinion to Everton. In the next game, we got West Ham going up against the Capital One Cup winners, Chelsea. Now, Chelsea are going to be laughing, alright? They've effectively won the BPL and the Capital One Cup in the same day. If they don't win the league now, there's something seriously wrong. That means that Matic, Costa, Fabregas, all these players have been like injured, like they've been killed basically. Then they'll lose the title. But anyway, in all seriousness, West Ham seem to be tailoring away, and this is a simple result, to be honest. I reckon it's going to be a whitewash. I reckon Chelsea will really put in a great performance. 3-0 Chelsea. In the next game, we got Liverpool up against Burnley. Liverpool have been absolutely fantastic recently, and that's coming from a United fan. Really don't want to say it, but it's true. Alright, they look a great force, and they should be too much for Burnley, but at this stage of the season, going up against relegation teams is usually, you know, they do come up with some surprises. So I really hope there is going to be a surprise, but I can't go against Liverpool at the minute. They've just been fantastic. So I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool, but I really hope Burnley gets something from that. And in the last game of the week, this one's going to be played on the weekend, but it's classed as match day 28 because Spurs obviously didn't play for the Capital One Cup. So basically it's QPR versus Spurs. Yes, they've got 2 games this week, but it's because of the midweek and at the weekend. So yeah, they play QPR and it's at home again for QPR. So they're playing both North London teams at home. And personally, I don't think they're going to get any points. I hope they do because again, it's top 4 contenders, but I reckon Spurs are going to beat Swansea and they're going to beat QPR. I reckon it's going to be 2-1 to Spurs in the QPR game. So yeah, there's all the games done. We'll compare it with the Mystery C. Now, sorry this has dragged on for ages. I'll try and keep them a bit shorter next time. But yeah, let's compare the results side by side.
Alright, so as you can see, the results are fairly similar, to be honest. For the first couple of games, just different score, and then he thinks Southampton will win, whereas I say Crystal Palace. Man City, we both think he'll easily beat Leicester. He believes that Newcastle will come close to beating us, but we'll just edge it 3-2. Arsenal, he thinks they're going to whitewash QPR 3-0. He also has the reverse score for Spurs. He reckons because of fatigue that Swansea are going to win 2-0, whereas I say 2-0 Spurs. Stoke Everton, he believes it's a draw, whereas I say a win for Everton. West Ham Chelsea, same results, he just thinks West Ham will score. Liverpool and Burnley, exact same score. And QPR, he thinks will get obliterated by Spurs 4-1, whereas I say 2-1. So yeah, let me know your predictions, subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and yeah, peace.